Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where today we are discussing left-sided, left-footed centre-backs that Manchester United could potentially sign in the next 6 months. Now the reason we're doing this is because around 7 or 8 days ago, I done a video looking at areas that Manchester United need to strengthen, and in that video I said this, because we also need a left-sided centre-back. Now don't worry, I'm not suggesting we replace Lisandro Martinez, I think he's a wonderful player. However, if you look at the backup to him, there isn't really one. Now, of course, we already have Lisandro Martinez, but the whole idea here is we either need a Lisandro Martinez backup, or we potentially need someone to replace him, just in case he isn't up to the standards that he had before his injury. So let's look at 4 different options we could bring in. One is going to be very expensive, one is then going to be a little bit cheaper, we're then going to have a really young option, and then an option which is a completely different playstyle. So let's start off with the expensive option. So the expensive option is 22-year-old Sporting Lisbon centre-back Gonçalo Inácio, who reportedly has a release clause around £50 million, which is of course expensive. That is our expensive option on the list, although if you think about it, it is actually quite affordable for a club like Manchester United. So what do you get with Inácio? Well, you actually get a profile which is very similar to Lisandro Martinez, just a little bit taller. So in terms of ball playing, Gonçalo Inácio is incredibly press resistant. Someone who is able to receive the ball from his goalkeeper with his back to play and turn the man pressing him. And this is a really rare profile with centre-backs, but it's something that all the top teams dream of. Gonçalo Inácio is absolutely brilliant at receiving the ball in these areas, because despite being around 6 foot tall, he's actually incredibly agile with the ball at his feet, making him extremely effective. Now, as well as being press resistant, he also offers incredible passing to his side, and for me he is one of the best ball playing centre-backs in all of Europe. Even at just 22 years old, he is absolutely brilliant on the ball. He's got that initial composure, but also very much a progressive nature to the way that he plays. This is a line splitting or a line breaking centre-back, someone who looks to find his teammates in advanced areas in between these little gaps here. So when defences for the opposition are sitting off a little bit like this, Inácio is the sort of player who can fizz a pass from here all the way into this higher area, finding a teammate who is able to get on the half turn. Inácio is absolutely brilliant at that, but he also has other methods of ball progression as well, because he is a very good ball carrier. Playing for a Sporting Lisbon side which often plays in a back 3, he is often one of the wider centre-backs, giving him that licence to step forward with the ball, carrying it into midfield. And of course, again, this is something which United need. It's something which Lisandro Martinez does, so if we were looking to replace him, or have a backup, or even upgrade him, Inácio ticks a lot of boxes. And he also offers something which Lisandro Martinez actually doesn't, and that is a long passing. Very, very good long passing. This isn't something which Lisandro Martinez has tended to do at Manchester United. Inácio would certainly look to do this. He loves playing a long switch pass out to the winger on the other side, so again, he could be really useful in this area. Importantly, he's also good from a defensive point of view. Now, like I said, he's a little bit taller than Lisandro Martinez, he's got a good reading of the game and is pretty solid defensively. However, I do have my concerns. Like Lisandro Martinez, he isn't the tallest, strongest, most powerful player you're ever going to see. He's not a ground eater by any means, he's not the greatest at defending wide areas, so there certainly is a certain weakness from a defensive point of view. However, that could be masked, for example, thanks to his tactical flexibility. He can play as a right centre-back, a middle centre-back in a 3, a left centre-back, or even at left-back if you really needed him to. So I'm sure you could find some sort of tactic or some sort of position for him to really thrive. So with that in mind, Gonçalo Inácio is definitely an option for Manchester United. Like I said, to either be a backup for Lisandro Martinez, or potentially to replace Lisandro Martinez if he isn't able to get back up to the standards which he showed before his injury. Now the next option is a little bit older but also a little bit cheaper. David Hanko, currently playing for Feyenoord, would probably cost you around £40 million, but 26 years old, this is an experienced player. But of course, once again, left-footed, playing on the left side of the defence, and importantly, on the ball, he is absolutely brilliant. Playing for Feyenoord, Hanko is a player which is more than used to dominating the ball and controlling the ball, and for that reason, he is a high-volume defender. Someone who always looks to get on the ball and dominate and dictate the tempo of a game. Something which, again, Manchester United would need as a backup or a replacement for Lisandro Martinez. He is absolutely brilliant in this way. Now, he's possibly not as press-resistant receiving on the turn as what someone like Lisandro Martinez is. However, he is still very good on the ball, and again, good at progressing the play with his passing. Perhaps not a line breaker to the same extent as Inácio, because Inácio really is one of the best, but Hanko is still very good at moving the ball forward. He can go through the lines when needed, he can progress the ball out wide, with passes either to the winger, to the fullback. He is very comfortable moving the ball forward. He's also good at carrying the ball forward, but not only carrying the ball forward into open spaces with a large stride. He's good at actually taking players on, which again is quite rare for centre-backs, but he is good at picking the ball up into this sort of position, stepping forward, and then when pressed, he is the sort of player which can drop a shoulder or quickly manipulate the ball away from the opposition to move past them and carry the ball forward. And again, that is of course a really effective way of progressing the play into the final third, moving the ball up the pitch. And again, playing for Feyenoord, he is used to doing this. Something else that he is used to doing is playing with a really high position. Because Feyenoord dominate possession, their team is always really high up the pitch, and Hanko genuinely is involved in their play in the final third. He can be someone who creates chances despite playing at centre-back. That is how good he is on the ball. He really is top quality. Something else that Hanko offers, a bit like Inacio, is tactical flexibility. He can play at left centre-back or at left-back. If you want a sort of reserved left-back, someone who sits back, plays a little bit deeper, Hanko could tick that box. And if you're looking for a squad player here, a backup option for about £40 million, that ability to play in a few different positions could be very, very useful. In terms of weaknesses, Hanko is a little bit similar to Lisandro Martinez and Inacio also, in the sense that he isn't the strongest, he isn't the biggest, he isn't the most powerful, he isn't the most aerially dominant, and again, he isn't really a ground eater, someone who wants to cover a lot of spaces, although he largely makes up for that with good intelligence and good reading of the play. Again, this would probably cost you about £40 million. If you were to do it, you would get yourself a really good player. In my opinion, not as good as Lisandro Martinez, I think he's a level below, but as a squad option, he could be pretty handy. Next up, we have our youngest player on the list, 17-year-old Dutch defender Jorrel Hato, currently playing for Ajax. Now, I know we've all been scarred from signings from Ajax before. However, Lisandro Martinez came from there and was absolutely brilliant. Jorrel Hato is a very similar player. This is one of the best young centre-backs in the world. Now, you might think if he's one of the best young centre-backs in the world, why is he affordable? Well, actually because his contract runs out in about 18 months' time. So if perhaps in the summer you could nick in and put a bid in before Ajax extend his contract, you could be getting one of the best young defenders in the world for about £30 million, and you are signing a top prospect here. Perhaps not ready to be a starter just yet, this would be the perfect player to play as a backup to Lisandro Martinez, because he possesses a lot of the same traits. Unbelievable composure and technique on the ball in deep areas. So again, when receiving the ball under pressure, he is super calm on the ball. He takes his time all day long. He is in control of the situation. But from there, importantly, once again, he is expansive with the way that he plays. Looking to play passes through the lines, forward. He can use both feet to manipulate the ball and manipulate the opposition. He can receive on the turn. Someone who could potentially step into midfield to receive the ball, which we know that Erik ten Hag likes. He is unbelievably good on the ball. For a 17-year-old, to have this amount of composure and belief in his own ability, but also, of course, importantly, the ability to match it as well is really quite special. This is a great young player, and his on-the-ball ability is something that United need. Whether that is progressive passing through the lines, someone who can switch to play with long passes, someone who can receive with his back to goal, or even someone who can carry the ball forward through the pitch and be progressive and be expansive and take players on. Hato ticks all of these boxes. He is a great young player. Importantly though, he's also really good from a defensive point of view. Now again, he's got a bit of versatility. He can play as a left back or as a left-sided centre-back, either in a back four or in a back three. But what Hato has is athleticism, the ability to defend strong and aggressive on the front foot, going tough into the challenge, up against a striker, or if needed, going the other way. He has the recovery pace to cover large areas. Perhaps not a ground eater profile, but certainly no slouch out of possession. Really good at covering wide spaces. The only concern with Hato currently would be that he is very early in his career. Is it too early for a move to the Premier League, one of the toughest leagues in the world, where he may not get that much football with Lisandro Martinez ahead of him? Perhaps that would be a problem in his career. Areas to develop, perhaps the way he controls his aggression. He likes to be really strong, really front-footed in the challenge, but at times as a youngster that gets you a little bit caught out. You're going a bit too hard, too early, and you get caught out, or you pick up an unnecessary booking. But in general, Hato is a top player. I think he would cost about £35 million, which is a bargain for the talent that you are getting here. So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order. Now for our different profile of left-sided centre-back, we have 21-year-old England and Everton defender Jarrad Branthwaite, a player which I have mentioned on the channel a few times now, particularly in live streams. Now like I said, Branthwaite is our player which is a slightly different profile. However, he does still have some similar traits. For example, he is happy to receive the ball and play out from the back. He He is comfortable in possession, as you would expect from all modern top centre-backs. Branthwaite is comfortable taking his time on the ball and looking to play from there. However, unlike the previous three we have looked at, he isn't particularly expansive with the way that he plays. Now, perhaps this is just tactic playing for Sean Dyche at Everton, but he isn't someone who really constantly looks to fire the ball forward through the lines and be cute and intricate in the way that he plays. It's not really his game at this moment in time. Now, yes, he's 21 years old. He could certainly develop in that area, but he isn't a ready-made, top-level ball-playing defender. However, he does have the potential, and one of the reasons he has the potential is because he is extremely two-footed, which is very, very important on the ball, and again opens up tactical flexibility. For PSV at times he would play as a right centre-back despite being left-footed. We've seen him play as the middle centre-back in a 3 in an in-possession structure, and of course as the left-sided centre-back, and even recently as a left-back. And this is all because he can receive the ball on either foot, which literally doubles the passing angles he has available to him. Some players are only able to play the ball this way, some are only able to play the ball this way. Branthwaite can do it all. He can open up at any angle and play the ball forward, which is a really good sign. So like I said, he's not a ready-made elite ball-playing defender, but he's got a lot of potential. The exciting thing with Branthwaite is his defensive ability. Defensively, for me, he's the pick of the bunch here. He is unbelievably good, and one of the reasons for that is because physically, he's a monster. He is a monster. He is a ground eater, an unbelievable stride length. At times he doesn't even look like he's running that fast, but the stride length is just absolutely ridiculous, which makes him perfect for defending large spaces. Let's say someone like Luke Shaw were to play a little bit higher, Branthwaite would be the perfect defender to try and cover these spaces, again because of his pace, his strength, but also his 1 versus 1 defending is really good. Technically he's very good in these areas, but of course also uses his strength and power to overpower the dribbling wingers. He's unbelievably good in this area. He's also, though, really tall, really strong, really good in the air. You know, a Sean Dyche centre-back is normally going to be those things. He's really good in the air, and that makes him a very physically dominant defender. In terms of areas to improve, it would of course be that ball playing, taking it to the next level, but there's a lot to like with Jarrad Branthwaite. He's even a homegrown talent, which Sir Jim Ratcliffe supposedly wants to bring to the club. The problem with Branthwaite is the cost is going to be a lot, because Everton are in quite a nice place in the Premier League at the moment. I do believe that Everton will stay in the Premier League despite the point deduction. They're a great side, and they might be able to ask for a fair whack of money here. This could be 60, 70 million pound plus for a player who isn't elite on the ball and is a slightly different profile to what Lisandro Martinez offers. But if that is the direction which Erik ten Hag wants to take the club, a more physically dominant left-sided centre-back and perhaps a more intricate right-sided centre-back, Jarrad Branthwaite would be the man. Of course, all of this may mean nothing. Lisandro Martinez may return from injury and be top level, and United will not need a replacement. However, there is still a decent chance they will need someone who can rotate with him and be a backup. Because currently, when Lisandro Martinez comes out of the side, the play style of the team completely changes, and that should not be happening at a top club. So these are certainly some options which Erik ten Hag and Manchester United could look at. Let me know what you think of all of them. Let me know if you have any other players on your list of players who could potentially be a left centre-back for Manchester United. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.